broken system, chained and tangled up in lies. Voices shouting, screaming in defeat. Politicians playing games under darkened skies. Hope lost in the dust of the street. To anger, the crowd gets loud. Punches flying in the blink of an eye. Truth buried deep beneath the shroud. Welcome to the bullpen, where the weak will survive. These broken dreams we defend, trying to keep alive. Flashing perfect teeth, but behind those eyes just rotting greed. Politicians turn to whispers beneath. They all just get what they need. Whispering conspiracies, drowning in their lies. Echoes of freedom, lost in cries. Spin the wheel of fate, let's see who rise. But this game will bleed you dry. Welcome to the bullpen, where the weak will survive. These broken dreams we defend, trying to keep alive. Dreams we defend, trying to keep alive.
Well, welcome back to the bullpen. It's Sunday night. We're joined by a guest tonight. Almost basically a panelist at this point. Comics division.
So am I really considered to be a guest at this point?
I mean, not really. No. I mean,
you got a permalink, so you're good.
Yeah, you've got a speaker link. So
I do.
You're have basically a panelist when you want to be.
Yes. When I don't have something going on a Saturday that I need to finish off.
On a Sunday
and stuff. Yeah, I mean, like sometimes if I have a project I'm working on, Sundays is typically a good day for me to work on it. So
yeah, well, I'm hanging out at the ranch.
Yeah, that's what I did today. Baking in the sun, a lot of fun.
Nice. And then of course we've got my co-host, Lil Chad. How are you doing, buddy?
Hello. I enjoyed the Virginia sales tax free weekend to stock up on stuff for the school year. So that was what I was doing.
We don't get that here.
Yeah, what's up with that? Oh, that's right. You're a blue state.
Very blue state. Yeah. And as for me this week, I've been without internet since Thursday when a company came in and was laying fiber in the neighborhood and managed to cut my internet line in my backyard while setting up their own internet lines. So today was the first day I've been back kind of online. I avoided it as much as I could because I hate going on the internet and reading things on my phone.
Yeah, that's
do it on the PC.
Not fun.
So, yeah, looking up articles and stuff is not as interesting or fun on the phone. But I did learn a new skill this weekend. I took my above ground pool and I PVC piped the whole thing, fixed all my pressure issues, and got the water to turn from green and to clear in a matter of those 3 days where I was offline. So
nice.
Yeah, and now I know how to do all the PVC connections. So new skill unlocked. I was proud of that.
You should be.
Even the wife seemed to think that maybe I was able to accomplish something. So handyman Brahma. But we got a ton of stuff to get to this week. We've had some people actually get put through their Senate confirmations. We've had a whole bunch of referrals over to the DOJ. We've had a few different court cases go through. We've had a few people like Cory Booker go a little bit insane over the Colbert stuff. Yeah, we've had just a ton of stuff happening. It's just more winning over and over. Of course, some of it's not going exactly the way we want, like these, administration approvals. But the Senate is not really playing well with Trump at the moment. But we did get Judge Jeannine in place.
Yeah. Well, all right. It is funny because
I'm fine with that.
She was a Fox News host, but she actually has a fairly solid resume in terms of government service at various
she was a
levels.
hardcore prosecutor back in the day.
Yeah, she
went after the mob and stuff.
Yeah, she has government attorney experience.
Yes.
This is actually not a out of left field appointment, which is why, in spite of the Fox News, glow up for her, she was able to get the confirmation at 50, I believe 50 to 44. Mainly
50 to 45. Yeah.
Yeah. Which means that enough senators didn't even give a shit about showing up to vote on the Democrat side, really.
Right.
Because they knew it wasn't gonna matter. The bigger issue is that Thune, immediately after doing this confirmation, continues pro forma sessions. They are going to be out pretty much all of August.
Mm-hmm. And there are still... We got through 7 confirmations in the past few days out of the 150 that are sitting there. They should... there's no reason the Senate should be going into recess other than they're all lazy pieces of crap.
Yeah. There you go.
Correct. I mean, it's not even the campaign. It's not even the election year, so they don't have to. The old excuse is when it's in the election year, they need to go back to campaign. No, they should be doing their job is what they should be doing. Yeah. Or if they're not going to do their job, they need to just recess so that Trump can get those appointments in, because
if they declared an official recess, you could do recess appointments. Yeah.
As long as they keep these pro forma sessions up, he can't appoint through recess. And these positions are important. We've already got the top line people, but these are the, deputies. And if you want to talk about the nuts and bolts, these are the nuts and bolts positions that are political appointees. These are the ones actually doing the mid-level management legwork to make sure that you don't have Obama and Biden embeds effing things.
So, like Harmeet Dillon is to Pam Bondi. Since Pam Bondi's not doing much of anything, Harmeet is doing a ton of stuff.
Pam Bondi's apparently taken some money to try to cancel some antitrust lawsuits, which is some shit. I mean, the one thing that
on that part.
Yeah, the one thing we absolutely have been actually pretty solidly bipartisan on the last couple of years is that Google is a trust and it needs to be broken up. And Bondi's in danger of actually screwing that one up, even though it's already a locked-in decision.
Yeah.
Why am I not surprised at this point?
She has not been good. She's been probably the worst part about the whole administration. And I still hear people, bigger names than us, constantly just, no, I actually like Pam Bondi. It's like, for what reason? What has she done? She destroyed a whole bunch of careers of right-wing influencers by giving them those stupid notebooks. She's gotten out ahead of the FBI as far as the Epstein stuff went, and then kind of forced everybody into a corner. She's done nothing good. I can't think of a single thing that she's done that is actually worthwhile. Can you, Jed?
She's best buddies with Susie Wiles.
Yes.
I guess the best thing she's done is destroyed a bunch of conservative influencers.
Yeah. But they were completely blindsided by it. That was, I get we don't like some of them, but some of them are actually, I'm just doing good work and they got blindsided. Yeah, I know. But yeah, there's a few of them I have no problem having them knock down a couple notches, but it was such a useless thing to do.
Yeah, it was really dumb.
So yeah,
She's the worst and continues to be that.
so while this is all going on with the Senate only getting through 7 of these confirmations, Trump and Chuck Schumer were talking directly, and Chuck Schumer apparently is demanding $1 billion in concessions in exchange for approving any of these appointees. Trump essentially told him, go to hell. But I do not see how that is not extortion. Just flat out in the open extortion.
I mean, it's not. I mean,
I know.
Politics.
it's politics. I mean, it's actually it's how it should be done. Like it should be in the open. I don't want things in the back room.
At least it was brought into the open.
Yeah. So we'd be much better off if the politicians just did these deals in public, so we knew exactly what okay, you want the appointments, send $1 billion to X, Y, or Z. Okay, is it worth? I mean, and then you can make the decision. Like, is it really worth? It might be. Sometimes, actually, because in terms of net savings to the country and of having all these political appointees actually in, the bigger question is I wouldn't trust Chuck Schumer to actually honor any agreement.
Exactly. Definitely could see him just going, okay, well, I mean, they've done it before during Reagan's amnesty. You grant amnesty and we're going to take care of the border. Congress never took care of the border at all, and now we're in the position that we're in now, having to clean it up. And a whole bunch of people got amnesty.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's hard to trust anybody in Congress, and especially the Senate, since they're in there for so long. And half of them are octogenarians.
I think it's probably more than half.
Well, if you count the septuagenarians, yeah, it's definitely more than half. It's probably like 80%. So that's
true.
what's going on with Trump's confirmations. But yeah, congratulations to Judge Jeannine being confirmed as the D.C. prosecutor.
By the way, will this result in prosecutions of Russiagate? No, it will not. Do not trust the plan. None of that shit's happening. It's fine.
Yeah.
I still think they can get Brennan. If that's the only one that they get actually taken down, fine. But
Yeah.
I think they have to make an example of at least
They should
one
they
of
should
them.
do at least one. Brennan is dead to rights on perjury,
Yep.
and considering that that's how they went after Bannon, and well, not perjury, but specifically defying congressional subpoena for Bannon
even though-
and Lighthizer.
Even though perjury has a very limited statute of limitations, typically, well, not typically, there are some theories that statute of limitations does not start until the lie is discovered. Because if you never know there was a lie to prosecute for perjury, then how do you do something you don't know exists? So there is quite a bit of talk that perjury could be the one that gets them, because if you start the statute from the time that the lie is discovered,
Yeah, but
and they buried everything that whole time.
No, the statute of limitation is 5 years for lying to Congress, though, so he's still within it. Because I think
On the backside of it, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, because remember, the perjury charge would come from post 2022 when they brought him in for questioning under oath and he lied about Russiagate.
Right. And they had brought him in before that too, though, right?
Yeah,
I thought
but
they brought him in during the previous administration.
Yeah, but the previous lie stands. I mean, the new lie creates the new instance of perjury, so
Right.
we're well within
So you
the
could
5
get him
years.
that way anyway. Either way, I think Brennan is the one that's going to end up taking the fall. I don't know that you're going to see anybody else take a fall, but you can probably ruin everybody's reputations. Which I know there was a Fox News segment last week where Trey Gowdy basically said the exact same thing. You you can make them pariahs for the rest of their lives. It's not always about the prosecutions.
Oh, bullshit.
We all want the prosecutions,
All
but
right. Here's the thing. They had
we're
a
not gonna get
DOJ
'em.
lawyer who lied to the FISA courts on the Carter page. FISA
Yep.
warrants. Got dead to rights, prosecuted for doing that, and they gave him a slap on the wrist. The DC bar wouldn't even disbar him for lying to a court on on this document numerous times, and they are currently disbarring a lawyer who just gave a opinion letter to the Trump administration in 2020 about possible election interference issues.
Yeah.
So this Trey Gowdy is one of the worst, right? He's one of the uniparty like make things go away guys. He makes a big, what is the old saying? It's a sound of thunder and fury signifying nothing. That's Trey Gowdy. He's not ever. If Trey Gowdy's the guy, don't depend on him. He's uniparty 100%. He's still best friends with Paul Ryan.
Paul Ryan.
So if you're friends with Paul Ryan, I don't trust you, not one bit.
Right, but he's making a sort of the same point that we have. We don't really believe there's going to be a whole bunch of prosecutions coming out of this. So at least you must bring everything to light. I want at least one head. I would love more heads, but if that's all we can do is the one, sure,
we know
make an
that Brahma
example.
would like more head.
Yes. That is a known thing.
Indeed.
It is known.
It is known.
But yeah, so I just want to prepare the bullpen audience to do not trust the plan. Do not expect like somehow these massive prosecutions are happening. Be happy that Trump is genuinely making America a better place to live in, but do not feel like if he doesn't do this, it's because it's just realistic expectations. That way, if we do get a Brennan thing, it'll feel great, but set those expectations at super low because it's just not happening.
Now, the other thing that was announced this week, kind of in the same regards to this, is the Office of Special Counsel is investigating former Trump prosecutor Jack Smith for Hatch Act election interference violations. So another investigation going on there. Also a referral to the DOJ for former FBI Director Wray. So there's a whole lot of investigating going on. Like we said, don't know how much is going to come of it. But the picture is becoming more clear of how much the Democrats think that they can just interfere in the election willy-nilly and, continue to say stuff like worse than Watergate about anything that Trump does, when basically everything they've done in the past 10 to 12 years has been far worse than Watergate.
I mean, are we really surprised at this point?
We're not surprised, but it's nice to actually see it coming to light.
Right.
I mean, it's essentially the things we've been saying for years, but now we're getting hard evidence of it. And a lot of hard evidence of it.
In today's historical notes by Chad, not exactly the Ottoman Empire, but once it was outed, how Watergate really brought down the president. It was a deputy director of the FBI who got passed over for being the director of the FBI and had a personal grudge against Nixon because of that, decided to be Deep Throat and give the information to Woodward and Bernstein to drip, 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 and death by 1,000 cuts Richard Nixon out of office, even though he was extremely popular. And honestly, Watergate really wasn't that big a deal. It wasn't. So if you want to talk, that was one of the first, aside from JFK being assassinated, which was clearly a uniparty operation, the intelligence community orchestrated. You had another intelligence community orchestrated operation. Instead of removing a president through bullets, they removed a president through leaks to the Washington
Subterfuge.
Post, which sounds extremely familiar. Unnamed source. Unnamed FBI source.
Anonymous source. Unnamed source. Yeah. It's everything we've gotten for years.
Well, that's kind of the issue with anonymous sources at this point. It's like, how do you know they're not just making shit up? Oh,
At
anonymous
this point,
source
if they say
said.
anonymous source, I'm assuming it's made up.
Yeah.
Especially with Trump, we've had so many instances where the shit is made up and they clearly call him out for it. It's ridiculous. So don't, the FBI is a cesspool of corruption that has never been a good operation, never since it started. It should be a crime lab, like 20 people just doing crime lab, like tests.
Forensics.
That's what the FBI should be. It should be a federal crime lab where local law enforcement can send things they don't have the resources to test.
A federal CSI.
Yeah, that's it. Instead, J. Edgar Hoover managed to parlay Bonnie and Clyde into giant government funding to, by the way, and I think we talked about this before, the FBI's policy was extrajudicial assassination of these criminals. We're not going to arrest them. We're going to just have a massive operation to Ruby Ridge their ass wherever we find them. We're just going to go in and just gun them down. They shot John Dillinger in the middle of a street full of people.
Yes, they did.
That was their plan. We're going to wait for him to come out of the movie theater.
And then shoot his ass.
The chick he's with is going to identify him. Then we're just going to mow him down. What about the people? Casualties.
What's the plan, Ray? Get him.
Get him and fit him for the holes.
And these were all official FBI operations. Then you pull in to the Cold War era where the FBI becomes, at least under Hoover again, an information gathering blackmail agency to continually get more and more funding for their agency. Now, granted, there was definitely communist infiltration all over the place in the United States, but they didn't really do their part to, stop that in the way they should have. It was actually the House Un-American Activities Commission where they got most of that information. Everyone, poo-poos that whole thing now, but that committee did do good work in terms of rooting out people who were genuine problems for the United States.
Yeah, and then we've had the most recent problems with the FBI, like the Whitmer stuff. Patriot Front, I still believe, is full-on FBI.
Oh, it totally
And
is.
There's so much going on where it's the FBI is actually inciting things amongst the population, again, to keep us separated and at war with each other.
The only thing the FBI has ever stopped before criminal activity they stopped before it happened was a criminal activity they initiated. Those are the only, if it's not something where the FBI was creating an entrapment scenario.
Since we planned it, it was easy to stop.
With the Whitmer.
Yeah.
Whitmer was like, okay, how many people were in this criminal, conspiracy? 20. How many were FBI informants?
12.
17.
Well, the funny thing, there was a documentary, I think it was on Netflix, talking about 9/11, and it's pretty funny because you have these intelligence agencies crying about, well, people thought we're incompetent. It's like, yeah, no shit. Your whole point, the whole point of your job is to prevent shit like this, and it happened. So yes, of course people are going to blame you because it's your fault for not stopping it.
Yeah.
Actually, it's Bill Clinton's fault, and I can tell you why. He created information silos.
Well, I was going to say, didn't he also had the opportunity to have Osama bin Laden handed over to him, and he declined?
Yes.
Yeah. It was to it wasn't hand over, it was to airstrike his ass.
I thought Osama actually visited him when he was president, and he decided not to do anything at that time.
I don't know about him visiting. I know that someone basically kind of offered him up, and Bill Clinton did nothing.
In the late 90s, he was given the exact, the people were arranging a specific meetup with him, so they would know exactly where and when he would be somewhere. And Clinton decided not to do the kill him operation. So
Yeah. Kind of like when we sent over, who was it, ABC or NBC sent somebody over to interview bin Laden during his whole hiding phase.
it was a great running joke, but if you wanted to find bin Laden, You should have just went to a college where he attended, like say he had told an alumni association that he wanted to donate money, and they would have found him. They would have found him wherever he was on the planet. Because I get phone calls. I've moved all these times. The place I went to college always finds me to ask me for money.
For money. Alumni money. Yeah. C-SPAN. Clinton actually had about 10 different chances to kill bin Laden and never did it. So, yeah.
Shocked, I tell you.
The most
Absolutely shocked.
egregious was after the USS Cole attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was after he had attacked a military vessel in this case, so an asset of the United States. In the early 90s, you could argue coming out of the Afghanistan-Russia conflict where we were arming the Mujahideen and specifically bin Laden, that it was touchy to probably try to assassinate them when it was the rise of the Taliban, because at that point the Taliban hadn't done anything to us, and so what's our justification for doing it? But post USS Cole, 100% we had every right to go in and nuke him.
After our dog turned around and bit us.
It's not like it's the
pretty much.
first time the Bushes funded Saddam through most of the 80s. People forget that, where did Saddam get most of his support early on? CIA director George H.W. Bush.
By us. Yep.
No, it's kind of weird that it seems like all these assets that the CIA has ends up turning on us at some point.
Almost every single time.
It's really weird, especially if you don't ever read the interviews where they told us exactly what they were going to do once they were done with Objective 1. Like, it reminds me of in Korea and Vietnam specifically, during World War II, the United States and allies funded and supported and provided military assets, training, etc. to the guys who would become, the communist revolutionaries in Korea and in Vietnam, and to a person, and even in China, right? We gave Mao a whole lot of shit to fight the Japanese, and they all were very upfront, like, we will do this first, but then we are going to overthrow, our oppressors, et cetera, et cetera. And we were like, oh yeah, that's fine. You do what you do. Here's more money and guns.
You do you, boo.
And then all of a sudden we're like, oh my God, after World War II, they fomented a communist revolution in their home country. Who could have seen that coming?
I have no idea.
It's like they told us what the plan was. Yeah. Well, we've already given Patel and Bongino some crap over the first 7 months, but I'm still holding out some hope that they're just digging and building cases or something. I would have loved to have seen a whole bunch of people fired, but at this point, none of us has any trust in the FBI or CIA either way. So, it's pretty much business as usual with them. But we talked last week about Bongino's statement on Twitter. Don't know what it means. He hasn't really elaborated anymore, so we'll kind of see where it goes, I guess.
Basically him kind of blowing the whistle or something, or quitting, or...
Bongino said, give us time. We're working on things. It's not all things that we can be announcing as we're doing them. But he said he has seen things that have shaken him to the core, and a republic cannot operate this way.
Wow.
Which basically makes me think that he's seeing that the intelligence agencies really are the fourth branch of the government and running most of it. They probably are the deep state.
It would be great then to fire some people.
Yeah, unless you're building cases against them to do worse.
No, but you don't build the cases while you let them stay as upper level FBI agents. I mean, you're the fucking deputy director. You have no control over who is operating the FBI.
Yeah, but if you're trying to get all of them in one fell swoop, don't alert others. Would be the only thing I could think that might be. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right, Brom. I'll trust the plan.
So where do we want to go next? Zeldin at the EPA or the Livano consent decree?
Let's do EPA. That's a good one. That's a nice one.
All right. So it was announced this week that Zeldin, he's head of the EPA at the moment right now, is rolling back the endangerment finding, which basically ends the government authority to regulate vehicle emissions.
Thank God.
Yeah, we could use some more rollback on it. Chad, I know you had some points on that, so.
So the concern, right now, all right, so where we're going with this is because the Biden administration had made the determination that the CO2 was a pollutant under the Clean Air and Water Act, and therefore they had the ability to regulate it. In no way is CO2 something that is regulatable under the Clean Air and Water Act, but that's what they had determined. My problem with, and it's good that Zeldin did this, the problem is rolling back the determination doesn't preclude a future administration from making a new determination that CO2 is regulatable under the Clean Air and Water Act.
Yeah, it's not much different than an executive order.
What we should be getting, and what I hope they slip into one of these bills in the next umpteen weeks or months, is that CO2 is specifically excluded from regulation under the... I mean, until you get it written in hard, like black and white, you're going to still have the window. And even if it is written in black and white, we've seen how they push to still overturn things. I mean, a well-regulated militia, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Well, what does that mean exactly? I don't know.
It means you could infringe on it.
Yeah, I mean, may God help us if they put an Oxford comma in the wrong spot. The lotus-bearing grammatical structure in the Constitution. So
yeah,
that's my.
Do you remember like a number of years ago that they were basically pulling in an English major to try and say, "Hey, look, the people don't have the right to firearms because of the Oxford comma."
Right. Trying to reinterpret it when, I mean, even the context of the time, if you look at it, it's obvious what they wanted, and it's kind of like Biden saying, "Well, you couldn't have a cannon," and everybody was like.
Actually,
they
privateers.
specifically gave you the ability to have a cannon. They actually used
fact,
some of the private cannons to help defend the country.
George Washington depended on private owned cannons.
Yes,
for I believe Saratoga, and some various other important battles.
And a cannon is slightly more than a long gun, so I think context clues say. You're allowed to have a freaking long gun or a handgun, like, semi-automatic.
What's hilarious?
Automatic.
My favorite is they never envisioned us being able to access weapons of war. As like, except they literally were talking about the specific weapons of war. The brown.
Those were the weapons of war at the time.
The weapons of war at the time, and at the time they were much deadlier. I mean, the advancements in rifling. Yeah, I mean, we're talking like 50 caliber balls, man. Like, yeah.
Right, and medical care that was not up to snuff to try to save people once. I mean, it was basically just lopping off limbs.
One of my favorite things about the Patriot was the fact that they were so, and I know the running gag about Mel Gibson being so into gore and stuff, but they were actually very, very accurate about the damage the arms of the era did. Like with one of those cannonballs, when the way they worked were, designed to skip through formations of troops so that they would maim and wound, and then you'd get the grape shot rounds. And I mean, because it's easy for us to think and all kind of fall back on, we only see reenactments where you have the people lining up, they shoot off their caps, and then they just fall in lines, and it looks very very clean. It's like, it wasn't. It was very, very violent. There was a lot of, I mean, if we're familiar more with the Civil War, with amputations and the hospitals and what happened there, but it's not, I mean, we're only about 80 years ahead of that with, and the tactics of the time were fairly similar. They didn't evolve much.
World War
As-
One.
What happened by the Civil War
Yeah.
was our rifling and gun manufacturing outpaced the tactics to the point where the effective range on these rifled muskets was hundreds of yards compared to what it was before. And it,
Yeah.
you know, so the damage was way worse. It's crazy. And so,
So you're talking going from revolutionary to civil.
yeah, I'm just,
Yeah.
and all of that being said, what it means is the founders clearly envisioned the civilian population owning all the same arms that would regularly and routinely be issued to the military units of the time. And if you go back to the English common law history, which you need to do to understand the logic of why they were doing that, it goes back to English tradition where the peasant population of a given territory was not allowed to own swords or firearms. The
Right.
whole term man at arms comes from the fact that they had a person who was responsible for securing and warehousing the
Basically,
arms,
the armory.
the armory of the like dukedom or marquis or whoever. And at times of conflict, they would issue out weapons to the people they conscripted to work for them. And
Well, that's
in the
also like the
conflict.
whole thing with the handshake. It was to make sure that nobody had like a dagger up their sleeve. I don't know if you
didn't
heard
know
about that.
No. Elaborate?
Oh no, it was something that the sergeant at arms would do, is that he would go and shake someone's hand, basically the arm clasp, basically to basically shake their hand to see if they would dislodge a dagger up their sleeve.
Make sure they weren't holding on.
Yeah,
to
and make
something
sure that they
weren't
didn't have like
supposed to.
a weapon to try and assassinate somebody.
Interesting. But yeah, I mean, the arms were basically part of the treasury of the kingdom or of the dukedom or whatever. So
Yep.
I don't know how we got EPA into Second Amendment, but
Because this is what I'm getting at is if you don't codify in specific language that this is not regulatable, they're gonna come back for it. These are people who are they're without any kind of self-awareness,
Scruples?
legitimate. They were talking about developing genetically engineered ticks to make the American population allergic to beef so that we couldn't eat beef anymore because of the cow flatulence destroying the environment.
Who was wanting to do that? Is that another Bill Gates thing?
probably Gates. I don't
Yes,
know.
Bill
I
Gates
didn't
was
know about the
actually-
tick thing. That's crazy
Yeah.
that they were trying to use ticks
Well,
to
they've been
make
talking
people
about
allergic to
mosquitoes and ticks.
Yeah. Well, I
Well,
remember.
I mean,
Gates
here's the
wanted
thing,
to
Comix.
use mosquitoes for that. To
Well, the
vaccinate.
reason they want to use ticks is because they've already used it in a government-funded
Yeah, that's how we get
campaign.
Lyme disease.
That's how we
I was
got
gonna say
Lyme disease.
disease.
Yeah, was a go down that rabbit hole. I encourage people to independently research how Lyme disease magically occurred in ticks right near a government lab.
Yeah, it's very similar to a certain Chinese thing.
Interesting.
But I do have a little bit of a fun segue for us to kind of break up the the doomer gloomer part. Although it is, again, I'm still happy Lee Zeldin did it, but it's something. All right, you'll like this one, Brahma.
Actress Sydney Sweeney came out this weekend that she was a registered Republican. Any thoughts on that?
That who was?
Sydney Sweeney, she's like a very hot actress right now.
She's a registered Republican?
Yes.
Oh, now I love her ad. Is that right? Is Sydney Sweeney?
Now I love her
You'd be
ad.
surprised at how many people are Republicans. That's what I wouldn't have known, but I'm glad you told me that. If Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican, I think her ad is fantastic. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
I think your ad's fantastic.
I just
mean-
love that when they were asking, when he said who, the reporter said Sydney Sweeney,
very
that
hot
hot
actress.
actress.
She is a very hot actress.
Yeah, I mean, but again, with context clues, I think we all kind of had guessed a little bit at that. She had that that party with her family, the birthday party that she was at, where half of the family was wearing the red hat, and she got in trouble for that early on in her career. That was what, 2.5, 3 years ago.
I wasn't aware of that.
She likes to work on cars, and she actually seems like a regular person outside of the whole acting thing. That's part of why people, I think, are actually latching onto her, not just because of her two great assets, but because she seems like a normal person.
Yeah,
in
she doesn't seem like a fucking lunatic.
Actual life. And even with Madam Web, she was the one who was like, no, if I'm going to come in this scene, I need to be hanging upside down and coming down the webbing this way, because that's how it was in the comics, because she actually went and did some research on what her character was doing in the comics.
Just to give context, by the way, this while the left is going nuts about Sydney Sweeney,
me the hell out. This
is
ridiculous.
Hollywood at the same time has decided that Cynthia Erivo, she's playing Jesus, and Adam Lambert is playing the devil in this scene.
And her and Ariana Grande, I don't know what they did, but neither of them has an ounce of fat on them anyway.
I know.
They're just skeletal.
So weird.
And the whole thing with her fingers is freaking me the hell out.
I'm keeping it muted just because I don't want to get any music copyright strike, but just look at the movements. And I think Boosh has it right. It's a Skeksis.
Oh my god, it's so fucking on point.
It's Chamberlain.
Look at these people. This is what Hollywood is like. Yeah, this is what we should be celebrating. The super gay and the super whatever Cynthia Erivo
I'm
is.
pretty sure
she's
also gay, but yeah, she looks like Nosferatu.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing earlier with the fingers.
And the fingers.
Yeah, because look at that, like, the body language.
Yeah, there's a lot of people saying a little bit on the demonic side. Especially for her playing that character.
Lindsay the Cynical Geek. Yeah, the Grand High Witch from The Witches. Yep, that's a good one, too.
Dude, she's just not attractive.
No.
You never saw The Witches?
Even a little bit. But even compared to the poster for, what was the name of the movie? The Wizard of Oz movie. What's the alternate name?
Wicked.
Wicked. Remember the poster for Wicked? She actually had some, weight to her face. Now she is just completely emaciated.
Well, I mean, in the movie, she looks like a normal person. Now she doesn't.
And Ariana Grande at the same time is looking the exact same way.
I don't know if it's because they're doing that weird kind of like vacuuming the fat out of people's faces, because they did the same thing to
Jenna Ortega.
And she looks awful now. I don't know what the fuck she was thinking, but she looks awful.
I think that one was still more makeup than I don't think she actually got the buccal fat removal.
I'm not sure, but I know it looks like she took off her eyebrows. That always
no, she 100% dyed her either makeup or dyed. Yeah, you can see like when the zoom in, there's either makeup or dye on the eyebrows to conceal them. I think it was just a look for
one way or another. She made them disappear, and that's always unsettling.
Which is funny because Cynthia Erivo was the star of the Harriet Tubman movie from a few years back, and she looked normal in that one too. Did fine. Well, the movie's actually not that bad, but
being in Hollywood can do crap like this to you.
Yeah. You're selling your soul. Was it
maybe literally?
Not maybe. I'm pretty sure it just is.
Well, there's quite a few who have gone through without looking like they've sold their souls completely. Sydney Sweeney, maybe.
Yeah, she has the power of the boobs compel you. The power of the boobs compel you.
Yeah, she has the natural assets that the devil doesn't want or need. So jumping back to politics, we've got the Levano. I don't know how it's actually pronounced. Levano consent decree.
Lenovo.
No, it's Luvano. It can't be Lenovo. It's got to be Levano.
Levano.
So this, basically since 1981, this case was brought over the professional and administrative career examination test. which basically helped the government identify whether somebody was capable of doing a job in the federal government. And this was kind of hand in hand with like how affirmative action was going. Basically, the government was told, no, you can't give any kind of test that would tell whether somebody is actually capable of doing a job in the government, because that's discriminatory.
Jesus.
So we've had a whole bunch of people who are not qualified for any job just getting the job because out of the tens of thousands of applications, there was no way to whittle it down to who is actually able to do it. But that has been overturned in the last week.
I'm beginning to think all those vote competency tests for voting getting thrown out was probably a bad thing too.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that we should be changing back to ways we did before, or at least outlining in a different way. But I mean, so the administration had essentially argued that it's doubtful that this was ever appropriate or legal or lawful, I guess. But with the Supreme Court case ruling on affirmative action, it's almost certainly unlawful now. So the original judge is dead. A whole bunch of people in the case are dead, but Angel Lavano is still alive and agreed to terminate the consent decree papers that he had from 1981, effectively destroying the ruling. So, Chad, you got anything on that?
I mean, yeah, so number one, it's an example of what's called disparate impact.
Right.
That's the legal theory behind it, and disparate impact has done more damage in the United States in legal as a result of it being adopted as a legal standard than pretty much anything in the last 50 years, because disparate impact operates under the fact that even though there is no overt acts of racism or prejudice, because one group is disproportionately impacted by it for whatever reason, the disparate impact itself is discriminatory, and so they have to put policies in to keep that from happening. A good example of that would be firefighters, right? They require that you have to lift 200 pounds do a deadlift of 200 pounds while wearing your gear when they're doing the test.
Unless you're in LA.
Yeah, well, here's why. Because that standard it has a disparate impact on women applying for it, so you get lower numbers of women, unless they're bull D's, that can do that kind of thing.
Right.
I'm not familiar with the term. What is a did you say bold D?
Bull space D. I'm being YouTube friendly.
What does the D stand for?
Oh, a
It's like
a
a
water blocking device in the Amsterdam area.
Okay.
So, as we saw from the ones in LA who decided if you're needing to get rescued, that's your own damn problem, I think was your own. You did something wrong.
How did you get yourself into that position? You're a man.
Yeah, but disparate impact is the worst, and it's a terrible legal standard. And under disparate impact, that's how you get a lot of community, where they have to force people into schools, and where you haven't done anything wrong.
Right.
Just because communities are impacted by it, you have to, have to fix it. So disparate impact needs to be dismantled 100%.
Yeah,
and you know how
it leads to equity rather than equality.
Yes.
Yeah. And the way equity works in the real world is it doesn't help everybody get better. It makes everybody worse.
Yeah.
And that way you
Brings everybody down to the
But
lowest
Chad, I was
denominator.
told it makes everybody better.
Oh, if only communism
by
had ever
comparison.
actually been tried. Did you know, Comix, that it's never really been done, and that's why it's always failed, because it's
Of
never
course.
been really tried.
We got $5 from Adolf Klittler. They cannot resist. In the end, I will win, and they will all devour my Frank squirter. Thanks, Jaffo.
Squirter. I'm sorry, that's funny.
Yeah. we've talked about the economy and how we need to get everything, kind of what those three pillars of the economy are. One of them that we needed to happen is we need the Fed to lower interest rates so that people will actually be taking out loans and building new businesses, starting new businesses, all that kind of stuff, as well as kickstart the housing market because people aren't taking loans with the interest rates where they're at. And hopefully, with all the deportations, there will be some houses that are coming up on the market that might actually be affordable for people. But Jerome Powell is once again useless and refused to lower the interest rates this week, citing possible inflation due to Trump's tariffs as the fear on the horizon that means he cannot do his job. So, go. What do you think?
It's retarded.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean the interest rates. This is the problem with the Fed. They gave it a dual mandate that are completely in conflict in order to allow the Fed to do whatever the uniparty needs. Because if you have a hot jobs market, it tends to happen when you've got when you got very low instance of inflation, but they have a goal of having 2% inflation. It's so stupid. So Powell is doing what he thinks is the right thing to do for the people he actually works for, which isn't the American people. So,
Shocker.
I mean, with
Yeah.
this is with the evidence from June. Tariffs brought in 27 billion just in June, and it's estimated that the tariffs will bring in over 300 billion by the end of the year. So, the tariffs are happening. We have not seen a whole lot of it passed on to the consumer. I haven't really noticed much of anything. I don't know if you guys have, but
I have not.
yeah, and we actually ran a surplus the last 2 months, I believe, as far as the federal budget, not the budget. What is it?
The only thing I've actually seen,
we have had
and
no federal budget deficit
Right.
the last couple months.
the only thing I've seen that has taken place, and this took place before the tariffs even took effect, is that I was buying a monitor, and like 2 weeks later, it basically went up, I think, like $20. But I mean, at that point, this is way before the tariffs were even taking effect.
Right.
The one thing I did earlier, afterwards, is I had to go and upgrade my laptop. So I bought some more memory and a new hard drive for it. And it was basically roughly the same price as I paid before. So,
Okay.
I mean, I can't say I've actually seen anything. And that was after the tariffs taken effect. So I can't say I've actually seen anything really get impacted.
Even the people on Twitter who are desperately trying to say that we're paying for the tariffs, I haven't seen any of the usual suspects be able to bring up anything and actually point to it and say, see, this went up.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even find examples on Twitter, and that would be the first place where you would see a whole bunch of crazy lefties,
Right.
bringing
Complaining about
up
it.
any change in price on anything. So
Right.
at this point, as we said, it looks like the companies are absorbing the tariffs and
Or
we're making
they're-
great deals out of them.
Or they're devaluing their currency,
Sure.
or they're lowering their prices so that the tariffs are a net neutral on the cost of good to the American public. Because in the United States, I mean, this is the market that everyone wants to be in, where we actually have disposable income to purchase and
We are the
drive.
consumers of the world.
Yes. We are the market that actually consumes and and can drive success in other nations for building things. Everybody wants to maintain access. Using the economic might of the United States is 100% the most intelligent foreign policy we should be using. and,
It's
and
much
it-
more effective lever than just hitting everybody with the stick that is our military.
Right.
Correct. And tariffs are an excellent source of income because people want to come, they want to have access to the United States market. They pay to get access, and that money goes to the federal treasury, which in turn can lower our tax burden as citizens. It's a win-win. The problem that tariffs could be from an economic standpoint is if they are not actually helping to protect American industry, or if they are in so large a quantity that they disrupt the entire market. A lot of people will point to the 1930s, I think, with the Smoot-Hawley tariffs as a exacerbating factor for the Great Depression as examples of why tariffs are terrible. That is a bad example. It's always been a bad example. That market post World War One, which was the beginning, I guess, if you would, of an international market that, we really hadn't had before, with American, and specifically was American farmers overproducing to, export out. And when those tariffs came in, there was a cascading failure of being able to export those goods. The farmers then faced the Dust Bowl. It was a perfect storm of bad situation. That is not what that is not what Trump is doing. He is specifically having to try to fight back against bad actors, China, who are flooding the United States with irresponsibly low-cost goods for the purpose of running out American business in order to capture market share so that they have all the levers of influence over the American economy to preserve their own strength. They are a bad actor making bad decisions. Like a good example
now
is
they're
steel.
manufacturing a ton of, almost all of our pharmaceuticals, and it's also why a move early on in Trump's presidency to get chip manufacturers to start making some of the chips over here is very important, because if they were to take Taiwan, then China basically controls chip manufacturing out of the most important place for chip manufacturing. China's always been a bad actor, and Trump was saying it in the first term. Somebody this week asked Trump, well, if tariffs are so great, why didn't you do them in the first term? And he basically turned and looked at him and said, that was the plan, but I was dealing with 3 years of Russiagate bullshit because you guys had everybody all over me. So we didn't get to do the things that we were trying to do now. So, sorry, Chad, I interrupted a little.
No, is it? I mean, that's right. And Trump did still do tariffs in the first term.
And he also called out China for devaluing their currency. Like every other week, Trump was screaming at China about their currency.
And one of Trump's top priorities from a trade perspective in the first term was eliminating NAFTA, which he did, and replaced it with the USMCA, United States, Mexico, Canada Trade Agreement, which has a deadline, which is now August, where he can cancel the USMCA, and he's going to make individual bilateral trade agreements with Mexico and Canada that are enforceable individually instead of one North American free trade bloc that China can infiltrate.
It's actually been hilarious on Twitter watching some of these lefties that are, the crazy women that do the clapping thing with every word. And they're like, we already have a plan for trade with Canada. And it's like, yeah, and we can end it now. So get educated. I mean, he's going to make changes. Get over it. But there are so many women with the crazy eyes doing that stupid clapping thing. I hate that.
Yeah. All right. So a lot of people overreacted because there is a current very heightened within an internet community zone of Trump regarding Israel. And Trump made a comment towards Mark Carney because Canada had released a statement that they were going to join in with France and the United Kingdom in September in recognizing a Palestinian state if certain conditions were met. And Trump released a statement after Mark Carney and Canada did that saying, specifically like, looks like there's not going to be any trade agreement with Canada because they're not supporting our thing. And people were up in arms like, oh my God, I wish he was the president of America, not Israel, etc., etc. Here's the thing. He didn't release any statement towards England because we have a trade deal with them, or France, which is part of the EU, which he just made a trade deal with. He released it only regarding one country who he is in the middle of doing trade negotiations with, Canada. Can people not understand that he is using this as another leverage point to get the deal he wants for the United States with Canada on a trade perspective? If three countries, two of which are far more important than Canada in terms of recognizing a possible independent Palestinian state, France and England, and he says nothing about them, and the check mark with both of them is that we've already done our trade deals, and he says it about a third one where we are in the middle of negotiating a trade deal, and Trump wrote a goddamn book about it. Like, how do people not understand he's doing this as a leverage point?
Yeah.
That's because they're idiots. I mean, let's be honest.
Real quick, because apparently the Rumble chat isn't feeding through, so I did not know this. But a while ago, we had Deeple for $5 over on the Rumble side. Ahoy! Memes have been posted to Brahma's Extreme. Need more friends on Rumble. It's dark and lonely over here. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Oh, the abyss is staring back. Guys, it says hello. And then Comix Division's Ballsack for $2. Put down your gag me with a dong corn dog, Ian, and give me a courtesy scratch, asshammer. Bet you can't guess who that is.
I have no clue. Is it toxic man flu?
It has a very similar way of talking, yes. So I'm assuming.
And corn dogs are sacred talks. Don't fuck with the corn dogs.
So that catches us up on the Rumble rants over there. Sorry, guys. I don't know why they're not feeding through tonight. We had trouble with Rumble last week, too.
Got some breaking news for Comix's home state here.
Oh, yeah?
Greg Abbott released a statement that if the Democratic legislatures who have currently left so that Texas can't put forward its redistricting map don't come back by tomorrow at 3 p.m., he will act under the advisory opinion of the Texas Attorney General and have them vacated from office.
Okay, so this is something. Wow. Did they run away again? Because this is something that's Texas.
They did.
Yes,
all the fucking time. It happens. I would say like once every 5 years, where they basically run away to not vote on something. Like they'll go to another state.
And then you have to issue warrants to get them to come back.
Yes. It's absolutely insane. This is a very common tactic. I'm not surprised. And one of these days, our governor should actually throw them in fucking jail for not doing their job.
Well, listen to this last paragraph. In addition to abandoning their offices, these legislators may have also committed felonies. Many absentee Democrats are soliciting funds to evade the fines they will incur under House rules. Any Democrat who, quote, solicits, accepts, or agrees to accept such funds to assist in the violation of the legislative duties or for purposes of skipping a vote may have violated bribery laws. The same could be true for any other person who offers, confers, or agree to confer such funds to the fleeing Democratic House members. I will use my full extradition authority to demand the return to Texas of any potential out-of-state felons. So yeah,
it's about fucking time.
He's not effing around
because he shouldn't.
So this is important because the redistricted map that they've put forward for Texas would essentially protect and generate 5 additional House seats for the Republicans, which could preserve the House in the election next year. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, it also redistricts Jasmine Crockett out of an office, which is just hilarious.
Oh, that is hilarious.
Oh no. And she's apparently very upset about it because, shocker, she's feeling like she might not be able to succeed in the private sector to the same degree she's managed to succeed.
She can if she loses her black scent that she didn't have until she ran for office.
Right.
There are videos of her in college speaking perfectly, fine English, not what she's doing now. So
She knows what the
she
fuck
might
she's doing.
survive in the private sector if she went back to her original way of speaking. But I haven't gotten to read into a ton of this, but apparently there's a whole bunch of stuff from the last census that the numbers have been kind of revised.
Yeah, so they found out
That
that
probably
there was,
cost us about 5 seats
Oh,
in the
yeah.
last election,
Yeah. Oh no, it did cost
and
us
gave
about a
New
dozen.
York an extra seat
It
that
gave
they
us a
shouldn't have
dozen.
had.
Yep.
I don't know what the process is for remedying that. Is
Well,
it wait until the
technically,
next
no.
census, or
All right. So
I mean,
here's how you could do it. There's nothing that says you can't do a new census before the 10-year mark.
but you have to call for one and then
You'd
pay
have to
for
call
it
for
and
one
get
and
it
pay
done.
for it. So in the next
Is it
legislative,
like a year that you
a census
you have to
takes a
give
year.
notice?
Yeah. No, the census takes like a year from when you started to
Right.
finish it. So Trump could, and this is something, by the way, that you could put into a reconciliation bill
Sure.
because it would be funding a government action.
Yeah.
Or he can use, who runs the census? I believe Department of the Census Bureau is under.
Did it get pulled under DHS or?
Looking up, because if the Census Bureau is under DHS, they just got a shit ton of money, and he could reallocate it. So here's a funny thing. Remember how we'd had earlier this year conversations about how all these canceled contracts, Trump can't not spend money that was allocated by the Congress.
Right.
It's called impoundment, so he's not allowed to do that. What he is allowed to do is reallocate it and
it.
still spend it. So all these savings that haven't been codified into rescissions packages, meaning they actually cut it from the government
Right.
budget, he could use some of
That money is now on the table to be used.
some of that
for
money
other
he could
projects.
use exactly could now be turned around and put under funding a new mid decade census.
I
He
mean,
could-
it would be useful to a degree, except that we still count everybody in a census. It would be much more effective if we could get it to where only citizens are counted in a census. I mean,
True.
because then numbers are vastly going to change in certain states, like say California, and they already changed quite a bit in the last one. But any time that the census is we're counting every person here, the numbers are automatically going to be wrong for districting.
It's part of the Department of Commerce, the Census Bureau. Ooh, you could use tariff money to fund it.
Yeah. I mean, I would
That would
love
be-
to see it, because even if it just changes those 17 seats we just counted up, yeah, that secures the House quite a bit more, especially going into the midterms if we're able to get it done by then. But I would be much happier if we actually changed how the census was done and then did a census.
Yeah, I mean, the counting citizens only should be what matters.
Yeah, I don't know why we give a crap how many people are in the country altogether, because the people who are here that are illegal or that are just visiting, on a visa or something, those really shouldn't be counted into the apportionment of
All right,
how we
so-
do our government.
So
Yeah,
this
you-
all
you
goes
said-
back. It all goes back to the founding, and Democrats wanting power. So that's when they came up with the 3/5 compromise,
3/5 compromise, yeah.
because they wanted to make sure that this is
They
how
kept their
terrible.
numbers in the South.
And Democrats have always been like this. We want you to count towards getting us political power, but we don't want to actually care about you as people. So,
Useful
they
tools.
so they came up with the 3/5 compromise in order to get additional House seats for their congressional delegations.
Right. I get where it comes from, but it still makes absolutely no sense in today's way of doing things.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that if you go by under the logic of disparate impact, that using that kind of setup for a census is a disparate impact against citizens, and therefore it should not be allowed.
Yeah, because California should not have the power that it has if half of half of the state is not citizens.
It effectively dilutes our voting power.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I
Which,
mean, I've heard that put forward as a novel theory kind of scenario, but whether that would, you'd need, again, all of these things sound great, but you need judges, you need the right case to get it to where you want it to be.
right.
So,
Speaking of illegal citizens or immigrants, I mean, we are now up to 1,300 deportations a day, and that's not including self-deportations. So we have had what 4 straight months now of zero border incursions,
mm-hmm.
and we actually have 1 or 2 straight months of zero or negative net migration.
Wow, it's amazing what happens when you basically stop telling people to show up at your door and come on in.
Yeah, and it's amazing what happens when the president just does something when everybody is screaming and yelling that the president doesn't have any power over the border. Biden can't do anything. We had to pass that bill that lets 5,000 people in before we start doing anything.
Oh yeah.
It reminds me of the South Park movie, Bigger, Longer, Uncut.
Yes.
When, and like, put in the flyer that there's going to be punch and pie.
Right.
And it was like, more people will come.
More people will come if you promise to punch it back.
Punch pie.
Yeah.
And when they had start the meeting, all these people show up and they're like, we were told there would be punch and pie.
Pie. Yeah.
So all of these illegals were promised government benefits, this, that, and all these wonderful free things for just showing up into the United States. And when they don't get that anymore, it's like, what the F am I coming up here for? Because all of their claims of needing asylum were bullshit. All of their claims about all these other things were bullshit. What they wanted was free shit and free American
And to
money.
send money back to their place.
Yeah. So
Well, that's
now
been
they're worried about ending up in CCOT, which is changing the equation.
Yeah. What I think one of the funniest talking points that the left has come up with over the past few months is about the big beautiful bill and the Medicare and Medicaid cuts and cuts to SNAP and all these other things. And it's like, well, half of it was going to illegals who you said couldn't get it to begin with, but now you're saying they're losing it. So which one was it? Could they not ever get it? Or were they getting it when they're not supposed to, and now they're losing it? And then the other part of the Medicare and Medicaid thing was able-bodied people that just refused to work were getting all these benefits. And all we're saying is you have to work at least 20 hours a week to qualify. And they're like, well, that might make me make too much income, so I wouldn't qualify anymore. It's like, okay, safety net done. It's not a freaking safety hammock.
What they were doing was the bait, not the bait and switch, the shell game. Like if you ever, the 3-card Monty kind of argument.
Yeah.
Where they were arguing on a federal level, no illegal immigrant was eligible for getting this Medicaid money. What they were lying about and what they were purposefully obfuscating was because the federal government gave all this money for Medicaid to the states would individually choose to use their matching funds, their money for Medicaid, to provide benefits to illegal immigrants. This is in California, Illinois. This is where, and as soon as the big beautiful bill passed and was signed, all of a sudden, once those monies from the federal side were in jeopardy, the states were like, oh no, now we won't have money to pay for all these immigrants that we were giving benefits to. Right. So in the finest parsed legal language possible, they didn't use on paper the federal money to do it, but it's fungible. It's like we talked about with Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood, yeah.
If the federal government is giving you all this money so that you can pay all of your rent and your employee salaries and everything else, they are effectively paying for abortions because they have covered the business operation expense so you can provide these other services.
Well, it's just the grand version of it's not happening. Okay, it might be happening, but that's a good thing. And then it should be happening. That's great for the country. I mean, they've pulled that with just about every major thing over the past 10, 15 years is denial, then denial. But, I mean, you could see how it would be a good thing. And then finally just going to, yeah, that's what we want to do.
Yeah, it's, I don't know what the end result. The real reason they've been upset with Trump is he's been effective. He hasn't rolled.
Extremely.
So, people forget George W. Bush came into office with a Republican Senate, a Republican House, and the presidency, and he had it through 2006.
Mm-hmm.
He had it for 6 years of his administration.
And one of the things they tried to do with him was get amnesty.
Yep, and he wanted to do it.
Yes.
And it was only because...
Well, he did the Day Labor Act or bill or something like that.
Right,
Yeah,
but they were going for full amnesty.
They
at the
wanted
time.
full amnesty, and they were planning to do it, but the grassroots revolted so much. And also, here's the fun fact, the Democrats at the time were against it because they were going out, and the Bernie Sanders of the world were yelling and arguing, no, illegal immigrants are bad for American workers. They lower wages, they take our jobs, they're not good.
He's in that time period, he was right.
No, yeah, he was 100% right.
That's exactly what we're
true.
saying now.
Yeah.
Because here's the dirty little secret is it's always been the truth. When Pat Buchanan said it, it was true. When Bernie Sanders said it was true. When what's his name? Was it Hugo Chavez, the farm labor leader, said it?
Yep.
It was true then too. You know who hated it? He hated illegal immigrants. He hated because he wanted to unionize American workers, and he thought and illegals were the ultimate scabs. And to a union person, scabs are the worst. I mean, talk to Sporking about that. And
Sporking in his unions.
His
I think he
union.
softened on the unions are bad thing.
Well, then he saw
us saying
Sydney
that
Sweeney,
unions
and
are
he
bad.
didn't soften anymore.
Yeah. Speaking of Sydney Sweeney, Toxic Man Flu for $2. I still have to the end of August. Jeffries in 2025, baby. Well, we've got something with Sydney Sweeney and with Tox's hero Hakeem Jeffries. I'm sure you saw this one, Chad.
Republicans just want sexy white girls with perfectly round titties in their ads. We're here to say no to that. Democrats are the party of ugly-ass people. And we want representation, maybe some non-binary Latino midgets, maybe a couple of fat shamikas eating fried chicken and fighting at a Carnival cruise or a Waffle House, or some shit like that. Just any ugly people. If they're too ugly to go outside, that's our people. Republicans
love
just
AI.
want sexy.
We've got one other one that just doesn't tie into Tox, but real quick, because Tox has sent another. Let me remove this. Get back over there. Toxic Man Flu for $2. Oh, yeah? Now Bitchker in Illinois says all the illegals will be losing their state Medicaid benefits, which he previously said wasn't happening. Exactly. And yes, I did miss a step, Marks. Stage 2 is, it's happening, but it's rare, so it's not that big of a deal.
Did they ever get to the illegals with guns taking over apartments is a good thing? Did they ever get to that? Because we got to the it's rare portion.
I'm sure they did at some point.
I think we had just gotten into it happened, but it's super rare and not an indication of. And then they immediately turned to Maryland
Actually,
Man because Tren Agua was getting
No.
shipped to CCOT.
No, it was before that. I mean, this was during the election because this was like the Aurora thing. So what happened was they couldn't get to that point because in the next week after that had come out, Trump said the cats and dogs, they're eating the cats and dogs. So they went full blown insane on that and just completely forgot about the Aurora, gang members taking over apartment complexes. So Trump actually didn't let them get that far.
They're eating the cats.
They're eating the cats.
dogs.
We had one more from Miss Klobuchar, whose head shakes like she's the most scared person in public speaking I have ever seen every time she says anything. But I think AI actually settles her out a little bit.
Look, all we're saying is that we want representation, okay? If Republicans are going to have beautiful girls with perfect titties in their ads, we want ads for Democrats too, you know? We want ugly, fat bitches wearing pink wigs and long-ass fake nails being loud and twerking on top of a cop car at a Waffle House because they didn't get extra ketchup, you know? Just because we're the party of ugly people doesn't mean we can't be featured in ads, okay? And I know most of
Oh no.
us are too fat to wear jeans or too ugly to go outside, but we
My God, that's funny.
want representation. Look, all we're saying is that we want representation.
Yeah, some people have been having fun with the AIs, with the Democrats, and the Sydney Sweeney situation. Which I found the whole thing hilarious, the Sydney Sweeney situation. Me and Chad got to talk about it Friday. I think me and Comix got to talk about it a little bit. No, I didn't get to do it Thursday because
No,
I
you didn't.
wasn't able to be there.
You weren't able to make it, yeah.
Yeah, because I had no internets. But yeah, the whole thing's hilarious.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
fact that you've got Sydney Sweeney and everybody's automatically, it's Nazi propaganda. I do like the way that one crazy chick on TikTok,
Oh my God.
pronounced
Nazi
it. Nazi
propaganda.
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 But yeah, Chad, unless you've got anything else political, we can go into our little kind of for fun segment for the show. I know there were a couple other things, so if we want to hit them, we can before we go into that.
I mean, there's the massive online age verification issue that is springing up, but that's probably a deep dive I should get some stuff together for.
Yeah, that's getting crazy. And I know that that shit's getting implemented, and it's getting implemented in the UK, or it's implemented in the UK. They're getting ready to implement it in Australia, and they're trying to do that shit here too. So
Yeah,
This is like a fun meme that kind of illustrates what they're really trying to do, because it's like the wife is calling
trying to blow it up there.
Police, help, we have a very violent burglar. Oh, you're too busy. And then the husband, don't worry, I've just complained about migrants online. The police will be here any second now.
I know. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they're Marjorie
more
Taylor
likely to
Greene-
respond to you saying something than they are to actual crime.
Yeah.
So Marjorie Taylor Greene and Deeple puts in there, the kids, keep kids safe online. It's the Simpsons thing. Won't someone think of the children? They always use it. It is all right. Look, I'm perfectly content with putting an age verification in front of a Pornhub, or something where it is explicitly adult material.
Right.
But under the logic that has been passed, you've seen the stuff where NVIDIA won't let you use the
NVIDIA app
to update the firmware for your graphics processor if you don't verify your identity and that you're an adult. These are all back channel
Backdoors to
ways
digital ID.
to create a digital ID system, and it's being sold. It reminds me of V for Vendetta, where they're like, oh, they created a virus, and it's like, what did they decide was the best target? Their own children, because then that would scare the entire country into doing whatever they wanted. They're using children as the face, like, oh, you don't want children seeing all these degenerate pornographic images, right? And it was like, no, nobody wants that. So, so you should be willing to do all these other things. I was like, and they get you to sign off on the front part so quickly, you're supposed to forget and ignore. It's just like the Patriot Act. We just got attacked. You don't want it. You don't want 9/11 to happen again. It's like, no, I don't want 3,000 Americans to die again. Well, then why would you be against this? I guess you're right. Oh shit, all this other stuff was in there. You're now collecting our entire cell phone conversations in a giant NSA database housed out of Utah. Look that shit up. There's a building there that can hold 40 times the amount of data in the world.
Is that
servers.
part of Echelon, or is even Echelon still a thing?
It was the stuff that I know Snowden outed when he came out. I mean, so that was when did Snowden, like 15 years ago now.
It was like
It's
20. It was
probably at
2013.
least
2013.
Yeah, because
so-
it was under Obama, and so whatever they had then, I'm sure it's even better now with Palantir and some of the other new stuff that they've got with AI. Here's why they all are hot for AI. There was so much data that aside from a analyst specifically looking for you, there would
Now
be
they've
way
got
too
something
much.
that can do it for
Now
them.
they have something that can actually do all the collating
Yeah.
so it's
And
ridiculous.
in MTG's case, I mean, it may be, good intentions, but good intentions, they don't work with government programs.
Exactly. I don't
I
don't
agree with
believe-
her on the porn thing. I do
Yeah.
not think this is something that we can back, because once again, even though this is kind of coming from our side, call out the slippery slope when you see the slippery slope, because
Yeah.
more often than not, we've been right on the slippery slope, and we know exactly where this is going. And digital ID is just a way to keep us all in line.
Mm-hmm. Especially once they get a hold of your banking.
Yep. Because we've already seen some banking issues over on the game side. We've been talking about it with Visa and MasterCard.
Yep.
Now, on the other hand, this is where they're going to slap you in the face with something like this to try to get you to guilt, because this is disgusting and horrible from a cultural standpoint. Lil Tay over here, whoever this girl, within 3 hours of turning 18, created an OnlyFans and made over $1 million,
Yep.
which is disgusting and horrible for so many reasons. And they're going to use stuff like this as the cudgel to get you to agree to this digital ID system. And it's wrong. And there's nothing good that will come from using the digital ID system. Number one, as anybody who knows anything about the internet knows, sure, you'll get the Pornhubs of the world to put up with it and do it. But guess what? You're just going to create offshoot sites that don't participate, and people will find them. And so that content will still be there. And when you take stuff off legitimate, this is actually the argument that was made for legalizing drugs and ending prohibition.
People are going to do it, so we might as well just let them.
No, but here this actually does have some sound logic to it. If you make someone go to an illegal place to get something, they're going to be able to get access to things that are more illegal and worse because they're going through that channel. The idea, the argument and this was the one I found most compelling about marijuana legalization, was if you make someone go to a drug dealer to get marijuana, the drug dealer is going to be like, well, if you're trying that, you should try this, and give them harder stuff that makes them really crazy addicted.
What's my drug of choice? I don't know. Well, what do you got?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Where I don't go broke and I do it a lot.
So if you take somebody and you put them, and this is the part where I think there should be a compromise, where you can make it where you require ID verification for specifically adult websites that make their money providing adult entertainment. You don't need to have an entire ID verification system for the entire internet.
Right. And with porn, there was always an ID involved. I mean,
No.
even when it was paper, you had to have
well-
an ID.
Yeah, I mean, until you found it under your dad's bed.
Sure, but that wasn't it being sold.
Yeah.
That was finding the stash. Or
Or
finding
when
the
the-
movie
or-
out in the middle of the woods.
Or when that one magic night would happen when the one channel would come in clear instead of scrambled.
Instead of scrambled. Yeah. But also, don't simp for OnlyFans chicks. If you're going to simp, do it like we do and just talk about Sydney Sweeney and her boobs. Don't actually pay anybody money.
Honestly, which do you think? I feel like in terms of a more rational choice, I think personally I would get behind the youth buying custom automated systems over doing it on the OnlyFans, because at least it would probably be easier to separate that person and get them into a, and I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is.
I think the funny thing that we're going to see in the next 5 to 10 years is porn has become so ubiquitous within these generations that tastefully hinting at nudity, like say a ad where there's cleavage showing, is going to be more titillating than the stuff that they're used to. And it's going to go back to, a bikini is more titillating than, actually just going and watching your 20th porn of the day. Because, it's so everywhere at this point. So, just my hot take prediction. People are going to go back to, having a little bit of coverage is actually going to be sexier than just everybody being naked all the time.
I don't know about that, but I haven't. Although apparently there is a whole market for Amish romance novels.
Hell yeah.
Amish romance novels?
We have a very strong Mennonite, and I guess I conflate, but and so our bookstore, in the romance novel section, they have a whole shelf where it's books, where it's romances in Mennonite and Amish communities.
This is fucking hilarious.
And then I saw her collarbone and I was set afire.
No, they go courting.
Yeah. That's interesting. I don't know. We got anything else? We're at our usual hour and a half.
I mean,
we do have a new members in credits, so everybody stick around for the new song.
Trying to think if there was. I'm checking my bookmarks to see if there was anything else not covered. Oh, this is funny, but it's just humorous.
Okay.
But I think it would be pretty funny for it. This is Cracking the Code.
Oh yeah, I saw this one.
Have you seen this one, Comix?
No, I have not.
Yo, babe, what movie should we watch? Hello, let's pick a movie. Fine.
Babe, I thought we were watching a movie.
I understand now.
Why are you talking to your controller?
Yo, babe, hurry up, we're gonna be late.
I'm not ready yet. I need like 45 more minutes.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's go.
Hey, babe, did you find everything we need?
Yep. I'm just gonna walk around the store again just to make sure I didn't forget anything.
Never mind, I got everything I need. Why do you have a PS5 controller?
No reason.
I can't decide what to eat. Chipotle. I'll get Chipotle.
Perfect.
Do I want a burrito or do I want a bowl? Burrito it is.
Sounds good.
Ooh, chicken or steak? Chicken? I'll get chicken.
Can you order it?
Yes. Ordering food.
Yo, babe, what movie should we watch?
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
It is the advanced marriage situation, because I will say I haven't picked a restaurant to eat at in 20 years.
Oh, see, I've gone the opposite way. I just pick because there's no point trying to have the talk of where are we having dinner. Nobody will agree. And half the time, it's I don't care. Then you name 10 places and it's no.
No.
So I just don't ask the question anymore. It's just, all right, if you want to go out, we're going here tonight. Let's go.
Let's see. Deeple did send some memes.
Yeah.
So we
can you
check
pull
those
them up? Because
Yep.
if I try to share them, they get jacked up.
This is perfect for Brahma. I love you. Is that you or the whiskey talking? It's me talking to whiskey.
Yeah.
If alcohol can damage your short-term memory, imagine the damage alcohol can do. Leftists having dinner after a hard day of crying about the mean orange man. All right. Before and after. And that, ladies, is how you say it.
Drained his soul.
Let's see. I think he did some more. LGBT sausage, lemon, garlic, basil, and tomato. Hand cranked and twisted. Before you judge a liberal, try walking a mile in their shoes. The clown shoes. All right. When you neither requested nor desire any service from any government, but they continue to seize 40% of your income. Thomas had never seen such bullshit before.
Now redo it with Josie, doing the Josie had never seen such bullshit before. The redheaded libertarian.
Yeah. You used voting. It's super ineffective.
Big government. Level 9,999.
Yeah.
Voter level 1.
This one's from Josh Hammond. Brahma Bowls 3 Bs. Booze, boobs, and booty. Woot all the alcohol I can drink. Big booty Latina's my favorite. Booty.
Big booty Latinas. AOC.
So I think that covers the memes that had been shared out.
Awesome. Well, everybody, because of YouTube's new rules, it would be very much appreciated if you'd click the like or the share button or the subscribe button, because that's the only way anything counts as views. And we have actually seen the numbers fluctuating all over the friggin' place backstage. So apparently there is some truth to that you need to do one of those things at least on the streams that you actually do like, because that's the only way we're getting views out of it. Release the McCracken says there's one somewhere. Where'd you put it, Robbie?
Oh, what is... Oh, Release the McCrackens did one?
Yeah.
Oh, let me check here.
But Comix, what do you got coming up this week while we're looking for that one?
Oh, geez. There's actually a couple of videos I do want to make this week, talking about the whole thing with credit cards and gaming and the whole Sydney Sweeney controversy, because that is just absolutely fucking retarded. I can't believe that this is actually a thing.
New WNBA logo.
Is that actually the logo?
No, it's the dildo at the top.
Everybody's
been throwing dildos onto the court. The first guy got arrested.
Really?
Yeah, they haven't caught the guy in Chicago yet.
Hold on, under the...
Why are they throwing dildos onto the court? Just because?
Yeah, just for fun. Try to make the WNBA actually interesting or entertaining, because it kind of isn't. And there's finally eyes on it, so now people can... I mean, it's no different than when people used to go streaking just to get attention.
Oh, here we go. Here's the other half. They were under your post of the...
my Twitter post.
Yeah, for a group that can't define a woman, they certainly know one when they see one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so true.
Yep.
Yeah, we still talk about you to the Epstein files. Pay us what you owe us. And then
here's a green dildo to the face.
I lived through 9/11 and the subsequent abuses of power, and all I got was this lousy surveillance state. That is more of a T-shirt than Mad got for joining the United States Army.
It's also
that T-shirt's doing a lot of work.
It is.
There's a lot of bend to those words.
Indeed.
All right. Do you
think gigantic?
All right. So, if you want to take, I think that was the last one. Here's a question. I know we like Sydney Sweeney. She's good people, generally speaking. It seems like.
Sure.
She also sold her bathwater.
Yeah.
I mean, can you blame her? I mean,
now on the plus side, I believe it was blended into soap. This for her, in her product launch, but I still feel like I mean I get she's making her money. I mean, but that's still like basically the same business model as the OnlyFans thoughts. Do I
Except-
think should we have a little more? Should we be criticizing her for some of those choices, and saying, "Hey, Sydney, we like where your head's at, but maybe don't do these things."
Eh. I mean, the only reason we criticize a whole bunch of people doing it on Twitch is because Twitch turned into a cesspool that is essentially just short of porn. Sydney Sweeney is an actress. She's not sitting there on streams all day doing it. I get, the whole bathwater thing is cringe no matter who's doing it, but I don't see a reason to call anybody out on it. I think with the Twitch streamers, most of us made fun of them doing stuff like the bathwater or selling their farts, that kind of stuff. And yes, Adolf Klittler is correct. It's still not selling vagina-scented candles. Vaginal scented candles.
It sounds like the worst pharmaceutical product name.
And yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow has been doing that forever now.
Yeah. I personally, I don't care. I mean, to me,
if people are gonna be dumb enough to buy it.
I'm a capitalist, right? If there's somebody dumb enough to buy it, I say go for it.
And Slender's right. She may have been doing it as a joke, just to see how many people are stupid.
She sold out. I mean,
a lot of people are stupid.
A lot of people are stupid.
You will never, as a business model, undervalue the ability to sell to simps. Yeah, that you gotta it seems like it's a never-ending stream of dollars if you have the right credentials, so to speak.
But I mean, that is what the whole point of this ad was, is that sex still sells, and maybe they shouldn't have gone away from it and gone to the woke crap, because sex still sells. So I don't know. To me, I don't care if somebody's dumb enough to do it. I don't like anybody who's paying for the simping crap. I don't even like, what do we got?
The new Texas house map is great. If they pass it, I'll lose my seat. I already told you it's great. You don't have to sell me out.
Nice.
It'd
be so nice if she's just off of the political stage immediately after getting there. And
her
being
and
so
Kamala
freaking
can
loud.
go on tour together and not sell anything.
Yep.
I do agree with Slender. It's not even a law of advertising. It's a law of nature.
Exactly.
Because I mean, how much does Amaranth? I think didn't she share once she made like $13 million a month or some bullshit?
Yeah, she makes a lot of money.
There was the story about a year and a half ago that Amaranth has actually bought up almost like she's second to Bill Gates in the amount of farmland that she's bought up in the United States to keep it out of other people's hands.
I think that's
Bill Gates and the Chinese.
Pretty fucking based of her to do that.
Based, yeah.
I mean, I can.
That's one of the weirdest parts of the big tent of the Republicans now is that so many adult performers have come over to the conservative side, mostly because they're making so much freaking money and understand how all of that works now.
Because they're self-employed. And let me tell you about how the tax structure is different once you're self-employed.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Because for a lot of the people in chat, if you've only ever worked as an employee, you don't understand. You get annoyed when you see Social Security and Medicare taxes come out, but you don't understand that you're only paying half of what those taxes are. And if you're self-employed, you have to, instead of 6%, you're paying 12%, and you have to pay your own unemployment. And another difference is if you're an employee, your Social Security is capped at around $162,000 of income, meaning there's no more Social Security taxes taken from the employee side after you've earned $162,000 in a year. If you're a self-employed person, there is no cap.
And when you're self-employed in a very small business, say 5 to 10 employees, or even less, 2 to 10 employees, and the state decides, well, we're going to make a minimum wage of $25. So you get to actually fire 2 people because they were making, above minimum wage, which was like, $8.50 when they started. And now you've got them worked up over the years to about $17, $18. But then the state just says, now you're going to pay them $7 more out of your pocket without being able to change the price on anything. Yeah, that's just losing jobs and overpaying people to do things like answer the phone and take a message, like basic secretarial jobs. Being self-employed sucks.
Well,
Between the
the other thing
taxes
too
and
is
the
not-
way the laws affect you, that somebody
Not all
working at
jobs-
McDonald's makes as much as your person that you've had for years. And it's not because you don't want to pay them. It's because you're a small business and you've got a limited amount of income that is coming into your business.
Well,
most of
and
the
that,
time.
and not all jobs are created equal, right?
Exactly.
It's like there was this one thing a number of years ago. There was like this one guy. I think he basically owned a company in Seattle and basically said that I'm going to pay everyone $75,000, and it's just like I think it ended up pissing off a lot of people. I don't know how well it worked.
No, it was so he
because-
was a credit card processor. I remember this story.
Yeah.
And he said instead of salary and all this
Instead of
other, I'm just going to
variable
give
wages.
everybody the living wage of like $80,000, and it was a terrible failed experiment because the people who were his best performers left,
Yes.
and
because
the
they were
people-
dependent upon to do everything
Yep.
because everybody was making the same amount and the rest of them just choose not to do anything.
and then
'Cause they're making
the
same money.
other employees, who had a guaranteed salary now of that high number, didn't do anything because they knew the money was coming in, so it was a complete debacle.
I just have to do the bare minimum to stay employed and collect my money.
Yep.
No incentive to do anything more or even really to do your job, just to show up.
And this is a perfect example of why communism can't work in the real world, because when you remove incentives for merit-based rewards, you incentivize not working. Because if you're a high performer, all you know is that you are working harder, longer for less. So you choose to then not work. Because why? Why put in the effort? And if you are someone who's lazy, instead of feeling like you need to put in more effort to gain a reward, you're already getting everything you wanted. So why work? It reduces everybody to the lowest common denominator in terms of work product output.
Then you get the situation of, somebody who just starts and is, gung-ho doing their job, and all the veterans are like, whoa, 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 you're showing us up. Slow down. You don't need to actually do your job. You need to just do enough to make it look like you're doing your job. Stick with us because we're lazy enough, but it gets done eventually, which is a disservice to the employer. And we've all seen that, and that scenario has been played out in tons of movies and TV as a joke, but it's reality too.
Yeah. Well, that's the sad thing, is it's becoming a reality.
Yeah, don't be too efficient.
I mean, you got to watch out for that on the Comix division shows too. Comics, you gotta don't let them all regress to the mean. Make sure you're keeping their foot on the fire to be productive. Look at Culture, man. He's getting a little lazy on your shows. You got to keep him motivated.
He is getting lazy.
He's too busy with his 18th channel.
I do love how every time I'm not on the show, Culture manages to stay the whole time.
Well, I mean, there's a reason for that. I'm kidding.
Apparently. The mocking has become too much, and I lightly mock him. And I don't interrupt him. But
no, it's not you.
I know he's doing all the other stuff. He's busy.
He is.
But anyway, I think that does it for the show tonight. So thank you all for being here. We appreciate y'all, and hope you enjoyed the show. Go ahead and hit that like button on the way out. And here is the new end credits. Let us know what you think.
It's
Is this something we're supposed to talk over?
Yeah, it's got the song now.
I'm not hearing. Oh, no, I don't hear a song.
Yeah, it's
That's
got a
that's
turn.
why I muted it.
Bucks.
Headlight.
It's very late 90s, early 00s vibe to the end credits song.
Of course, because all of my prompts are going to have grunge.
Yep.
Well, that was like, no, this is like 10 years after grunge.
This was as close as I could get it to.
This is like Blink 182.
I know.
Nothing wrong with Blink-182. Better than Green Day.
You know, speaking of, what is it, elevating pornography, didn't they put Jeannine on their album cover?
Yeah.
I wonder, not for nothing, but how many of them are probably still alive? I feel like, given the era, like back then, porn stars, you know, live hard, die young. I don't know how many of them probably committed untimely unfortunately.
I mean, I don't really recall any passing away.
They also weren't famous enough for anybody to care when they passed away.
God help them, there's probably a lot of miles on those models.
Yeah, probably. I mean, obviously there's no probably about it.
So in the comments after the show, let us know what you think of the new song for the outro. Slender doesn't like it.
What the fuck does that asshole do? I'm just kidding, Slender. Just kidding.
I do feel like this is, you know, like I would have heard the, oh look, opening for Lifehouse is Brahma's closing credits band.
Yeah, but part of it is listen to the lyrics, which we didn't let him do because we talked. It's all thanking the members. All right, everybody, that does it for us. Have a great week. We'll catch you next week.